Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Anna, and today we are doing flawless glowy skin. I'm going to show you my technique for getting long wearing, flawless, and glowy complexion. We're not talking sweaty, greasy complexion. We're talking glowy, ethereal, just perfected skin with a gorgeous glow that looks healthy and juicy. It's not going to emphasize texture. It's going to be all the things. So if that interests you, just go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know down below some more videos you want to see. Is there a type of technique you want to see a video on? Drop it in the comments. Coming up, I will be doing one on my underpainting sandwich technique. It's not quite underpainting. It's a little different than my underpainting video. It's a new little technique I've been playing with. I'll have a video on that coming up soon. And in the corner there should be a playlist, or at least some videos listed of various techniques that I've done videos on. So if you have questions, drop them down below, and suggestions, critiques, comments, concerns, whatever, let me know. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this flawless glowy skin tutorial. All my tips and tricks. Let's do it. Alright, so flawless, glowy skin that's not going to look oily and greasy. That's the caveat there. We're not going to look oily and greasy. And it's going to be fairly long wearing, but we're going for glowy yet flawless. We're not going to have texture emphasized. It's not going to do all the things you don't want your glowy complexion to do. It's going to be the ideal glowy complexion, in my opinion, in my experience. On my skin, I have combo skin. It can lean a little oily. T-zone area around the jawline, oily. And I also get dry patches just because, yeah. And I have slightly acneic skin and skin congestion. So that's what's going on the skin. And yeah, I'm also nearly 40 years old. So let's get to it. I want to start with skin prep. Whatever skincare works on you, that's what you should use. What suits your skin and fits your needs in your current season of life. Right now it is humid and hot here in Louisiana. Even though it is November, it is very humid. Well, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's not burning hot, but it's humid and sticky. So I've been using a little bit more lighter weight skincare items, and basically the stuff I was using during the summer. So I'm using Clarins Hydra Essential Moisturizer and my custom serum from Pros. So yeah, that's what I have been using on the face lately, as well as a little bit of a CeraVe eye cream. All that has been on my face for a minute. It's had some time to marinate, soak in. Let's move on from there. My next step would be a skin enhancer. I feel like that is the key to the glowy complexion. Now, even if you're going to go in with a more natural to matte finish foundation, depending on your skin enhancer and how you apply it, you can get a glowy finish that could be long wearing or whatever you need from it. It is where it's kind of one of the key steps to me is a glowy skin enhancer. And before we move to skin enhancers, I just want to briefly talk about primers. I don't have a mattifying primer that's like super mattifying on hand at the moment, like right in front of me, but something like an Elf Poreless Putty Primer, that type of thing. Anything that you like that suits your skin, go for it. And if you don't like primers, don't fool with it. It doesn't matter. In recent months, I've really come to enjoy the Elf Poreless Putty Primer liquid, and I feel like it does a really nice job at creating a nice smooth kind of canvas on the skin that's not heavy. There's a lightweightness to this that just, it gives a really nice kind of starting point, a good canvas to build on for your makeup. And I think it helps a little bit with longevity as well. It's just a nice kind of solid primer. It's not gonna go super matte. It's not gonna go super glowy. It's a very much a middle ground primer. Now, if you like something a little more mattifying, by all means go for a more mattifying one. And you can put that in the T-zone just to keep from oil breaking through. If you're more on the oily side, I would recommend that. You can still have a glowy complexion and use a mattifying primer. It's fine. Your primer is more for like your skin type, more so than kind of what you're going for with the finish of your makeup, to me. So this one's, to me, just a nice middle of the road type of primer. It gives some smoothing, it gives some longevity, it kind of just ticks all the boxes without being too far in any direction. So we're going to put a little bit of this on to begin. And I don't apply like a super ton of this or anything like that, just about that much. And we're going to apply this mostly in the T-zone right here, where I have the most pores, where I need the most smoothing, the chin, forehead. I keep it more isolated to the T-zone and then just let it kind of blur out from there. Yeah, it's not a incredibly mattifying primer, but it does offer a little bit like oil control and all that as well. It's just, to me, a very nice middle ground, and one I think will work great for all skin types, unless you have a very specific need. Okay, now back to the skin enhancers. I know I kind of bounced around there for a second. My brain was not in it. So skin enhancers, that's where I think the magic can start to happen, leaning into the glowy skin. And this can be where you adjust whatever foundation you have on hand, whether it be a super matte one or a natural finish, into a glowy foundation by mixing a little bit in. And what you can do is you can mix a little bit of your glowy skin enhancing product into your foundation if you want, or just, you know, apply it all over the face strategically in the high points. This is where you can start to kind of control things and bring in the glow and really start to adjust the finish of the overall look. So 3 of my absolute favorites to go in as a skin enhancer glowy product is going to be either Lumi Glotion from L'Oreal. This one I recommend to people with drier skin types because it does offer some hydration. An absolutely beautiful finish to this one. It's not metallic. It is very much a nice, beautiful kind of lit from within glow. And it offers a lot of really good hydration as well. It's a wonderful product. It works well. Good stuff. And yeah, this one I tend to just go all over the face with, and it does just fine. And it also offers a tad bit of coverage as well. Now, if you like one that you can kind of control a little bit better, apply a little more strategically, or if you want to go all over the face, something like Elf Halo Liquid Finish or Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. Either or, these basically are the same product, pretty much. You would have a hard time telling the difference, I think, on the face. I can't hardly tell the difference anyway. So yeah, this one, these you can apply a little more strategically, you know, to the high points and not all over the face. If you want to avoid, say like the T-zone or something, if you're particularly have a lot of pores or texture there that you don't want emphasized, you can avoid that area with these. And I find that these don't emphasize texture too terribly bad. Like, they do give a little bit of a filtered effect, especially the Charlotte Tilbury one. It's a little bit more refined in formulation, and you can take it more so on these higher points and not get too far in here. Or if you have maybe like some crow's feet or something you just don't want highlighted, you can avoid it with this. But I feel like this flows very well over fine lines and wrinkles, and it's not gonna make them look bad at all. To me, I think it does just fine. It looks very pretty on mature skin. So we're gonna take a little bit of this, just because the shade matches good for me today. This is a little bit deep, the e.l.f. one on me for this time of year. So where I like to apply this initially, I like to use this first right after the primer. And you can also take this over your foundation, mix it in the foundation. The world is your oyster when it comes to the glowy skin enhancers. So I like to come right here, high point, kind of make a little C, come right in here in this region. I also like to put a little bit on the tip of my nose. And look, these will last you so very long. You don't need much product. I've been working through this. I don't think I want to say how long. But yeah, this is usually where I will focus this, is on those higher points where I want more glow. I'll even take a little bit over here, a little bit right in here. And yeah, like the brow bone, all right there. And then we can buff that out with a little brush, which is also my preferred method. And just let that kind of diffuse out from there. And keep it more so isolated to those regions where we applied it, but just let it kind of blur out, and you can see the nice glow we're getting from this and how it doesn't look like it's bringing out texture. It's just giving a very lit from within, very healthy glow to the skin. It's not metallic. That's one thing I do want to emphasize, this is not metallic. Oh, another one, if you're more on the drier side of things, the MAC strobe cream, really good, really good for drier skin types, and it's going to give a beautiful glow. This is the OG skin enhancer, and again, beautiful mixed in with foundation. If you're wanting to sheer out your foundation a little bit, if it's a very full coverage one, if it's one that it's very mattifying, you can mix a little bit this in, either any of these products really, and adjust the finish and create some versatility, so you don't have to go out and buy a foundation of every single finish. You can adjust things, but this is my preferred way to get things started here. And there we go. It's just nice, kind of juicy looking skin, and sometimes I'm like, I could go for a little bit more glow, and because we're doing this underneath the foundation, I say we add a little bit more. Now, this is personal preference. You don't have to do this this far. I like to glow a little bit, I like to be glowy, and I like to kind of pull it just a little bit into the apples on myself. And there we go. Just whatever's left, bring it around the face. And that's going to give you a really nice starting point. So moving over to foundation, you have very glowy foundations on the market. Something like the Misha Glow Layering Foundation. This is super like glass skin glowy. It's not going to be incredibly long wearing, but it's going to be beautiful if you are a drier skin type or you just really like super duper glowy skin. This is going to be the one for you. And I like that it's in the cushion. It's very easy to apply. It's kind of quick, easy. It's got light to medium buildable coverage. And yeah, this one's going to be like that glass skin, incredibly glowy. And then what my preferred favorites, if I'm going for like a glowier complexion, is really between these two, the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint. This is a beautiful product. Also, the L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. That one is a holy grail. Absolutely a number one product. I've used it up. I don't have it on hand. But this one, comparable, very comparable. And this one, I think, does just fine for all skin types. And I think maybe if you're oilier, you'd like this one a little bit more. And then we have the Skin Silk from Makeup Revolution. This one is just a glorious finish. Just such a beautiful product all around, and it lends itself really well to going for a more glowy complexion. This has a very filtered, flawless look to it. It is just a number one, absolutely stunning foundation. So these two are great for if you're going for that glowier complexion, and the L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Serum. And these all have a light, medium, buildable level of coverage. And a recent favorite that I've been really enjoying, moving over into more of a creamier complexion that's not super glowy but can be glowy and adjustable, is the Monika Blunder cover. This one is lovely, just a beautiful product all around. So I just kind of want to throw that in there and mention it because it does leave a beautiful finish on the skin. It's more of a natural finish, and again, very, very adjustable. Speaking of like more natural finishes that can be adjusted easily, the L'Oreal just True Match Super Blendable, very customizable, easily adjusted foundation, has a truly kind of natural finish, natural satin finish on the skin. Yeah, as far as more natural, kind of almost leaning into a matte, very adjustable formulation would be like the Urban Decay Face Bond. This one's one that is super easy to adjust. Coverage level, finish, all the things. This is a very, very versatile, customizable foundation, and it looks gorgeous with a glowy skin enhancer underneath. Really pretty, very nice creamy finish, but it's not going to be super duper crazy glowy. Smashbox always on with the skin balancing. This one's very, very nice. Works great for multiple skin types because it has that kind of skin balancing technology within. These are wonderful, wonderful products. Yeah, and if you're looking for something very glowy, that's going to be a little less glowy than the Misha. This one's super glowy. From the drugstore, this one from Wet Wild, this is the Tinted Hydrator. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous skin tint that actually has more coverage than you would expect. It can get to a bit of a light medium place, offer some wonderful coverage, and it looks like an expensive high-end foundation. It's shocking how beautiful this one looks on the skin. We might actually use this one today because it is just a glorious product, and it has really nice wear time. I mean, it truly ticks all the boxes as far as just being a beautiful, beautiful foundation, and it has a wonderful level of glow to it and a little bit of dew without being too much over the top, and just, I don't know, it is the sweet spot. It's the sweet spot for just about every skin type, I would think, unless you're just excessively oily. This is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. If I'm going for really glowy, this is it. This is it for flawless glowy skin. Now, if I'm leaning a little bit more into the creamy and glowy, these are wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So I would be honestly satisfied with any of these, but since we're going for the glowy flawless today, we're gonna go with this one. The Misha one to me more, it's not quite as flawless as I want it to be. If you're just gonna compare these two, the Wet n Wild wins. It is more flawless looking. So this is gonna be the foundation we reach for today. And what I like to do with these very kind of glowier skin tints, and I would include this one in there, the Maybelline one, because it does have a sheen within. I don't know if it's gonna show on camera. It has that kind of glow to it. I like to pair them more so with a natural to matte concealer. It just gives a little bit of balance to the skin where it's just not, it keeps you from getting that really kind of greasy look. So yeah, I mean, you could obviously go in with a glowy concealer as well, really go for the wet glow look. And if you're a drier skin type, that can also be beautiful as well. And yeah, I mean, that's a pretty look. But to me, it can be a little bit over the top if you're looking for like longevity and stuff. It just doesn't lend itself super well to that. But if you were going to go for like a glowier concealer, the Smashbox Halo Healthy Glow, this one's pretty because it's not shimmery. It is just a healthy kind of lit from within glow. It's not glittery, shimmery. Same for like the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Pen. These are very much like the Touche Éclat type products. Very, very similar to that. More of a lit from within glow. They're not highlighter glowy. It's a different type of glow, and they're very pretty. And I think they can be beautiful with whatever type of foundation you want to pair them with, and give a nice kind of radiance to the skin that's very soft and subtle. It's not over the top. And these are a lighter coverage type of product. And to me, these are great for like kind of maybe mixing in and not being the only concealer that you reach for. These are good for kind of adjusting that concealer finish. So if you have a concealer that is like incredibly matte and you really don't want to go for like a super duper matte finish, if like the concealer is just going to make the complexion go totally matte and undo the glow that you've done, mixing in something like these can be really nice. I like to go for something kind of in that natural soft matte finish if I'm going for the concealer portion of the look. Something that really a favorite to me, if I'm going for more in the natural side of things, Kosas concealer, beautiful, beautiful formulation. The NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer, this is a beautiful concealer, and these both have a very kind of natural finish. They're not super mattifying or anything like that. They're just very pretty, nice level of coverage. They look great. They lend themselves to matte and glowy skin pretty well. They're very just kind of middle ground type of finish to me. If I'm going for something a little bit more on the matte side, this is a soft matte concealer. This is the IRL filter finish. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, especially with a glowier product like this. It just gives a little bit of balance and keeps things from going too glowy, because there is a point to me in my personal taste where it's going to get to this glowy point where you just look oily, and I don't want to go into that oily side of things. I want glowy, not greasy. This is a great way to just kind of keep things from going too far into that super duper glowy side of stuff where it's just like you look like you're about to melt. And this is going to give some longevity as well. This is a very long wearing concealer, which is really nice. because I also want this complexion to not be one that's just gonna melt away. I don't like that. I like my skin to be set. I don't like to feel dewiness on the skin. I want it to look glowy, but not feel glowy and not feel sticky and greasy. And I want to go a little bit more into that long wear because I am a little bit more oily. So yeah, this combo I have found to be a beautiful one though, for if you're going for a very glowy complexion, but you just, in my personal opinion, you kind of want to rein it in just a little bit, okay? And yeah, this is a really good pairing. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do my foundation. We're going to do the Tinted Hydrator here from Wet n Wild, and we'll do the kind of sandwich technique. I've just been really enjoying kind of doing the foundation first, then my blush, bronze, highlight, creams and liquids, and then the concealer, and set everything down. It seems to give a very beautiful finish. Alright, so we're going to take a little bit of this on a brush, and yeah, you'll be able to see how super glowy this is on its own. Well, not super glowy, but you know, glowy. You can see that this has a really nice coverage level, and I'm doing a fairly light application to begin, and we will build. But something about this, it really does look like a high-end foundation to me. It reminds me a lot of like CC Nude Glow from It Cosmetics, like something like that. Just very pretty, very refined formula, and I mean so insanely affordable. And just gives that perfect level of glow that is not gonna be too much, and just a really nice coverage level, which will be very much adjustable. You can build this product up, and to me this has been one of the most just, it plays really well with just, I think, everything I have paired it with, and it does wonderful for underpainting. It lends itself really well to that also. It's because I don't think every foundation lends itself well to underpainting, but this is definitely one of them. So if you're a fan of underpainting or doing the more sandwich underpainting like I'm doing today, this is a good one. And we're going to see anywhere it needs to be built up a little bit of coverage. I usually want to build a little bit on my cheeks. They tend to get a little bit patchy and red right in here. And I have a bit of vitiligo here that it never wants to be covered. It's always, to me, visible. So I try to balance these things out as best I can. Did you know that vitiligo can be caused from thyroid issues? I did not. And I never connected the two until I just started Googling. It's pretty symmetrical. I just think it's worse on this side. And it's weird. You would think, as pale as I am, how are you going to see a spot on your skin that doesn't have melanin? Girl, you barely have melanin to begin with. Oddly visible. Who knew? Particularly when my face gets red, you can really see it because it doesn't flush like the rest of my skin does. It's weird. It is weird. It's odd. And the more sun I get, the more obvious it is because it stays white, like paper white. So it's less visible, I think, during the cooler months. Anyway, nice coverage level and evened out skin tone. And there we go. And you can see we have a really nice level of glow that is not wet looking. When I say glowy, I don't mean glass. I don't mean the glass skin wet look. If I was going for that, I would use the Misha. We're going for glowy flawless. That's gonna have some longevity. Yep, something about just the vitiligo being in this region is very hard to cover because you contour and blush and bronze around this region, and it just sometimes makes it look more obvious. It's almost as if the texture of my skin is a little bit different there as well. Because I do have some spots on my skin that where like the texture is just different. Like right here, my wrist, and I have a spot on my leg that's like that. It's more, the skin's tougher. I call it my pig skin. So as we continue to add our glow in, we're going to move on to our blush, bronze, and highlight portion, which is where, to me, the glow is really going to come to life. Now we have a nice layer of glow all over the skin. It's a little bit more concentrated here, not by much. It's a very soft glow that we have right now. And from this point, you could lean a little bit more into a creamy finish, or you could go even more glowy by adding more of your skin enhancer in over top if you wanted to, patting a little bit of that on as a liquid highlighter and continue to build up some glow. Or you can move into something that is more of a glowy type of liquid blush and bronze product. I tend to not go too glowy with my liquid bronze. That's just not a thing for me. I prefer to stick to a natural finish when it comes to the bronzer. But when we're talking about the blush, you can go two ways pretty much with your blush. You can go with more satin, moussey, leaning into a matte natural finish with the blush, something like what they call a dewy finish from L'Oreal, which is not what I would consider dewy. It's more just a satin natural finish, or something more metallic like this one right here, which is their glowy formulation, and you can see it has a bit more of a metallic sheen in it. Maybelline makes some liquid blushes like this. These are beautiful products. It just depends how glowy you want to go. If you want to go real glowy, go with this one. If you want to keep it a little more going creamy, go here. But we're going for glow today. So we have this formulation, and another one that I really think is beautiful if you're going for a glowy complexion, a glowy blush, is the Milani Cheek Kiss Liquid Blush and Glow. These are stunning, absolutely stunning products. These are the glow level in these it's glowy, it's highlighty, but it's not too much. It's a very refined formula. If you like the Charlotte Tilbury ones or want the Charlotte Tilbury ones, try them, whatever. These are a dupe of those, hands down. This is a high-end formulation, whereas like the e.l.f. one's very metallic. But these lend themselves pretty well to like a longer wear because of the liquid that dries down. They give a little bit more of a long wear effect, as well as the L'Oreal one. Now this one is just gonna be more metallic, the e.l.f., much more closer to a highlight. Whereas this one just has a really refined finish. So we're gonna go with this one today. This is the Cheek Kiss in Luminoso. And of course for bronze, we're just gonna keep that more of a natural satin finish that match it, that just, I don't want glow in my contour bronze areas. So for now, when I'm going with my liquid ones, I want to be just more skin-like. So that's what we're gonna focus on there. And you could of course go ahead and add in a little more of a liquid highlight if you want to at this point. If you're really going to amp up the glow levels, you could take a liquid highlight on the high points. You could take more of your skin enhancer, like a little bit more like Flawless Filter, something like that. Tap a bit more of that over the foundation. That can look really pretty, especially with the e.l.f. Halo Glow and the Flawless Filter. They do very well for that. Whereas I think the Lumi Lotion and MAC Strobe Cream can kind of disrupt your complexion, your foundation a little bit. There's also liquid highlighters available at the drugstore, and high-end, of course. They're just truly highlighters, not blush lighters or anything like that. e.l.f. makes an okay one here. This is their Halo Glow Beauty Wand in the Highlight Finish and Champagne Campaign. I think it can enhance texture if you over apply it, but it is pretty on the skin. I feel like it can lean a little bit into that metallic side of things that maybe I don't 100% love, whereas I find the Milani doesn't do that. And the Milani has the pretty flush of color in it as well. That's not insanely heavily pigmented either. These are very layerable products. I'm gonna go ahead and do my contour bronze situation because that really doesn't have a ton of impact on the finish. I'm just gonna speed through that real quick and we'll come back when it comes to blush and highlight. Let's do this. I'm gonna use the Boom Beauty Boom Stick Bronze today. All right, that is cream bronzer done. Let's go ahead and do some blush, some cream blush. And as said, we're gonna go with the glowy cream blush today, or liquid blush rather. we're going to do the Cheek Kiss Liquid Glow, Liquid Blush and Glow in the shade Luminoso. I think that's going to be a pretty color for today. Let's go ahead and pop some of this on. Now you can go in like this and, you know, tap it on. That's not my preferred technique. I'd rather work off a brush, put it on the back of my hand, work off a brush. It eliminates any possibility of disrupting your foundation, applying it that way. And that rule to me goes for any sort of liquid blush, cream, whatever. I take it on the back of my hand and then with a brush. And one thing I am going to mention real quick, the reason I like to do the sandwich technique is I can kind of go ham with my blush and stuff and not worry too terribly much about contour bronze. So I'm going to take some on my hand here, off the back of my hand onto my brush, and I'm going to apply it pretty high right out here. And we get a nice glowy, blushy finish. And these are buildable, so you can build up to get your preferred level of glow. And I find these to be just very flattering. A very nice level of more of a really refined glow rather than metallic finish. And these are a little bit more gently pigmented as far as color goes, which makes them really nice for layering with a powder blush. That's what we'll do today, because we are going for longevity as well. Apply that wherever you want your blushy glow to be. We could even build up a little bit more. And since we were doing the sandwich technique, you don't have to be too terribly scared of over applying. And I'm going to do a video about my sandwich underpainting technique, whatever you want to call it, and why I think it is really nice, because it gives structure for one thing, and it can kind of keep my heavy blush hand in check. But anyway, I'm gonna build some of this up. We got a super glowy cheek now. Look at that glow. Oh yeah. I even take a little bit whatever's left of my brush, just around the face here. There's something, it's a very smooth glow within these. They are superior. They are the superior blushy glowy formulation at the drugstore. So there we go. This is where we are so far. Now we're going to take that concealer, and like I said, I'm going to go with the soft matte finish, because what that's going to do is give a nice balance to the glowy complexion. Because look, here's where I don't want to be glowy. Right here. That's when you start to look oily. It's when this part and like starts to look a little too glowy. It's a thing. And just personal preference, that's the one area I don't really particularly want to be super glowy. And I want to have in my under eyes, I don't want to be crazy glowy either, because to me that can, it just makes you look a little sweaty. We don't want to look sweaty. So we're going to take this concealer. This is the IRL Filter Finish Concealer. Again, like just a natural finish concealer, something like the NYX Serum Concealer. Beautiful, beautiful for this. So we're just going to do this one because it's me, a really nice option. And just apply that everywhere you normally would your concealer. Mixing matte and glowy finishes can give a very nice overall effect. So I'm gonna put a little bit right here, just because I like a little coverage and a little lift right there. And part of this application method is giving you a lot of nice structure to your face and a lift, little facelift as well. Just a little side note. Yeah, we're gonna do our highlighting, basically. And any extra coverage we need is gonna come from this also. And I'm gonna buff that out. And it's just gonna perfect everything a little bit. Another thing that's really nice about this concealer is it just has a good coverage level too. It's pretty full coverage. So I think we equate glowy skin with light coverage, and it doesn't have to be the case. You can get your coverage level that you need and still have a glowier complexion. It doesn't always have to be matte full coverage. You can have glowy full coverage. Just a little bit of what we're leaning into today. We're going a little bit, you know, perfected and flawless. Nothing is heavy. These are all pretty light layers we're working in here. And see how that just gives a little bit more lift to the cheeks and a little bit of a facelift, and it takes down some of the glow, just a hint. But because of everything else we've paired with it, it balances it out. So it's more of a natural finish rather than an overtly like soft matte finish. Again, adjustable. Depending on your combination of products, you can adjust any foundation, concealer, whatever to be glowy or matte. It's more than just what that particular thing is marketed as. Just some lend themselves a little bit, I think a little bit easier to adjust, a little bit more forgiving. And there we go. That is the liquid and cream steps done for today. Now, powder. For powder, I have a couple of recommendations here for setting. Now, we will talk about a finishing powder as well, but when it comes to setting, I prefer something like this. This is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Instant Wrinkle Blurring Pressed Powder. This has hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, and what this is a blurring powder that is lightly mattifying. This is not going to be a flat matte powder. If you're looking for like really mattifying, something like the Lottie London one, very mattifying. Plenty of super mattifying powders exist. But this is a more of a natural finish that gives a very blurred effect, very incredibly perfected look without being flat matte. It is one of the most beautiful pressed powders, I think, in existence. And it's drugstore, and it is pretty accessible, and yeah, it's just gorgeous. Looks wonderful on the under eye and all over the face. Another powder I think is beautiful that has a bit of a more natural finish, it's not super duper matte, is the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. I think it has a really pretty finish to it that's not flat matte. It lends itself well to a glowier complexion. And then, of course, the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, or Loose Powder. This is going to give you the glowiest finish of all of them because it does have a glow in it, and it is so very pretty. It still blurs pores and does all the things and helps with longevity while offering a very almost hourglass ambient lighting powder effect to the skin. So this one is very versatile in that you can use it to set and it looks beautiful as a setting powder. And if you're leaning for the particularly glowy finish, and it is gorgeous as a finishing powder in the same way you would use an Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. I don't use Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders for setting powders. These are finishing powders. There's a difference in my head. Anyway, not everybody feels that way, but you know, whatever. These are gonna give your glowiest finish. Now, what I like to do, some days, depending on my mood, I go in with the Halo Glow Powder and set everything, T-zone and all with it. And that's gonna give a very glowy effect, but it's gonna get progressively glowier throughout the day. It is not the most long wear look. Now, if you're going for a little more longevity, that's gonna stay the way, it's not gonna get progressively glowier on you too quickly throughout the day, I would go with the CoverGirl one. So we're gonna do that today. But you can see what the complexion is looking like right now. It is just a really nice glowy, yet not greasy look, if that makes sense. The skin just looks healthy. It looks juicy, but not greasy. And I kind of want it to stay in this finish throughout the day and maybe just take down a little bit of the glow right here in the pore area. So this powder is gonna be perfect in combination. Now, a lot of times I really like to use the e.l.f. one as a setting powder when I'm using more mattifying complexion products. They make a really good combination to bring in that creaminess that I like. Puff here. And this, I have the transparent one, so, or translucent, so it's just kind of white looking. It reminds me a lot of the NARS pressed powder, light reflecting powder. It reminds me a lot of that. It has that light reflecting technology in it, or like a pressed version of the By Terry Hydro Powder. Okay, so I'm just gonna Plus, and this does come in shades. You don't have to get just translucent, but look at my skin tone. But you see how that is just, it's mattifying, but it's not flat. It just makes all those pores and every little imperfection totally disappear. Right there, look at the difference. Hopefully that is showing. And this is one of those powders, you're not gonna look chalky. Like, you kind of can't over apply it. It's really cool. It is a very forgiving powder. I definitely want to set right here. This is one of my oilier parts of my face is actually my jawline. So I can still see the glow coming through from everything else on the face. It's just giving a very soft set to everything. It's just blurring. Truly, it's like a filter. At this point, we'll move on to our powder products. When it comes to powder bronze, I actually like a satin leaning a little more glowy in the powder form. Now, when it comes to my cream one, I don't want glow in that one. I want it to just be skin-like to a little bit more, matte. I don't want shimmer in that. When it comes to the bronzing with the powder, where I'm just going in and add some warmth, I love a little glow in that, like on the perimeter of the face. I think that can look really pretty. Hourglass bronzers, chef's kiss for that. They have a wonderful glow in them. I don't know if you can see that one. This is Hourglass Ambient Lighting in light. Luminous Bronze Light is what that shade is, and that was one of my holy grail favorite ones. Charlotte Tilbury makes some beautiful bronzers as well, but if you want a little more glow in your bronzer, this one from NYX, this is their Buttermelt one. This is all buttered up. It has a really nice level of kind of a sheen in there. It's a really, really pretty finish to it. Not too dissimilar from the Hourglass in that little bit of glow that's in it. Very pretty. Both of those. Gorgeous. And they can keep that glowy finish to the perimeter of the face, which is where I like the glow to be the most. So let's do the Hourglass one today, because I will use the Buttermelt constantly. So yeah, we're going to use Hourglass Luminous Bronze Light. And I'm just going to dust that over where we did our cream bronzer and contour, but just in a light application, just as a nice, little more broadly bringing in just a warmth to the complexion more so than anything. Just as you would apply your bronzer any other day. Nothing particularly special about that. The placement. Now for blush today, I'm going to go with the Luminoso blush from Milani in the Baked Blush, which is a gloriously glowy formulation. Again, very akin to the Hourglass blushes. Uniformly just beautiful baked finish. This is going to give you a really, really beautiful radiance to the cheeks without, to me, being too much. Whereas some glowy blushes can be a lot, like the Laura Geller ones. Ooh, they're a lot. They're very glowy. This to me is a really nice formulation. This and like the Hourglass ones, gorgeous powder blushes. And CoverGirl. CoverGirl has some really, really pretty blush. Take a little bit of this over where we applied our liquid blush, pretty much. And again, layering your products this way. Longevity. That's the perk. The biggest perk of this is going to be for the longevity. That gives us a really pretty kind of golden glow to the cheeks. Luminoso is a very universally flattering color as well. It's going to look different on everybody, but I think it'll look pretty on everybody. And there we go. Look at that. How pretty. Just a nice flush across the cheeks there. I like to keep my blush scores higher placements. And yeah. Glowy. Glowy but not greasy. And if you wanted to add even more glow, a little bit of powder highlighter, this would be the time to do it. I'm going to take just a little hint. The Infallible Fresh Wear Highlighter from L'Oreal. We're going to use I see gold today. I think that would pair pretty well with this. And I'm going to take that on a small brush so I have good control. And I'm just going to apply that where I like to have my highlight. But since we've done like all the other glowy products, really, at this point, you don't have to add the highlighter. This is just more if you really want to go for it. So I like to do a little bit on the brow bone, just right here on the outer top of the cheekbone here. Okay, so I'm gonna go do a little something on the eyes, not a whole lot. Touch up my brows, mascara, all that jazz, and we'll be back in just a moment for the finished look and some last minute details. Okay, we're back. I just went ahead and did a little bit of eyes, mascara, touched up the brows, and a lip. Now, let me, I feel like my chair is all wonky. So for final step, if I feel the need and maybe you want to make sure things are a little more blended looking, just as a finishing powder, it just, to me, it makes things come together a little bit. It's taking something like the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. Now, again, the e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder can do this exact same thing for you. But taking a little bit of it and just dusting it over the face and kind of making sure everything is flowing together. I also like to put a little bit on the other eye. I'm using the shade Ethereal today. I use Ethereal and I think Dim Light, the yellowy one, occasionally. Those are the two that I go between, but really for my skin tone, this one's kind of the best. I take it on a brush and just come under here and just brightens up. And it gives just a beautiful finish to everything. And I use such a small amount that this powder has lasted me so long. You guys, but I can make sure all my powder products are blended and not looking harsh or anything like that, and everything's just flowing together nicely. And there we go. That is how I like to do my flawless glowy skin. If you wanted to, you could take a setting spray over top, a glowy setting spray. I don't always fool with it, but that you can do. If you think your skin might look a little powdery and you want to add some more glow, Milani makes a wonderful glowy setting spray as well as Wet n Wild. Super affordable. Today we can take a little bit of the all-nighter from Urban Decay because it's what I got. And this of course will help with your longevity and make sure and ensure there's no powderiness going on should there be any. All right, but that is the look complete and how I like to create my flawless glowy skin. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, I will be happy to address those in the comment section. And I have some more complexion videos and technique videos I will link over here on a playlist and in the corner, just in case there's some questions there might be an answer over here. But anyway, yeah, if you want to see one that's more on that true like glass skin side of things, where it's just like we're going full dewy, not too worried about longevity, let me know that down below. But this one is made for the longevity and the glow and the flawlessness. It is all the things. So yeah, all right, I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Bye now.